extreme. Now, extreme is relative. For some people, extreme could be, let's say I had you start doing a chest press, but you have shoulder injuries. So you can't really bend you can't really put any compression on your shoulder. Well, you can actually start like this, palms facing away. We call this standing facing away. You can walk into the movement and then walk back. And for myself being a corrective exercise specialist, I teach people first the functionality of the movement, by walking into it, and then the progressive, challenging aspect of the movement, by letting the body fall into it. Because as we get older, we lose a lot of our balance. So TRX helps you stabilize and overcome that fear of falling. So now you know how to actually engage your intrinsic stabilizing muscles. So in case you do have to fall, your palms come forward, you know, for hip or shoulder. Okay? So this is what we call a chest press. I'm going to take you through a warm-up. We always warm up our legs first. And I'll be teaching classes here as well. Oh. Once a month, typically. We'll bring more TRXs here, so we'll have them off the walls. It's very challenging. So we always start with the lower body first. A squat, we always go shoulder width, elbows by our side, our shoulders are relaxed. We simply stick the hips out, slowly come down, we hit 90 degrees, we hold, our head stays up, so our eyes are aligned with our spine, and we slowly come up. If you have knee injuries, or impingements in your knees, we have you do what's called an all stance, or a single leg squat. So one foot comes forward. Typically, if the right foot is forward, the left toe will be lined up with that right heel. And then you really take your time and load up on the left quad. So the leg that is behind is actually doing all the work. This helps people understand how to pick up things from the floor, right? Or simply load up and get up on a chair. We start from the ground up basically in TRX. So we stabilize, we strengthen, and then we show you power moves. And we cool you down with core balance with yoga. So again, the warm-up would be a squat here. Always taking my hips from an anterior tilt, which means I push back, to a posterior tilt, which means they contract. Why am I doing that? Because the more I stabilize my hips, my hamstrings, right, and my glutes, the less compression I have on my lower lumbar. The less compression I have on my lower spine, the more my trunk is able to move freely. The more my trunk is able to move freely, the less compression I have on my knees. Because the compensation will take place in what we call forced couplings. So if your joints are moving right here, they aren't going to move right here, they definitely aren't going to move right here. So you see why we always start with like a squat, an assessment squat. So again, we squat, we come out of the squat, we'll turn you around, have you face away from the anchor, and simply have you do a lunge. Now if you can't do a full lunge, what we call an eye lunge, and if you notice, everything is completely stacked. You'll see 90 degrees all the way around. If I can't do that, I'll modify you. Step forward like this. Let's just start with this. Learning how to step forward and slowly come into it. You may have tight shoulders, which prevents you from bringing your arms above your head. So then we simply have you come out a little bit wider, till wide. Open up that thoracic cavity. Okay? Then from here, we'll have you turn around, have you what's called a wide delt. Arms come above your head. All stance again. Slowly fall back. Slowly pull up. Again, this gets my rear delts, which are important for keeping my upper body upright. Because the propensity is, if we work on keyboards, is to do this, what? We collapse. So we start collapsing our shoulders, and we can develop what's called kyphosis, or rounding shoulders, keyboards, laptops,
is that
iPads.
Kyphosis? KY?
Yeah, KY. Okay. So what we try to do is open up, pull the scapula back, depress it, and then learn how to protract and relax. Okay? That's what that movement does. Then we'll have you face away, and have you what we call do rollouts. Now rollouts can be 1 foot forward if you're challenged, or we can open up the base of support to give you stability. Have you come up with your tippy toes? Take your hips, again the booty isn't sticking out, the butt stays in line with the shoulders. Simply roll out as far as you can without form, and then come back. As you get much more challenging, your core gets stronger, you can actually go out further, or to challenge yourself and change your stability, bring your feet in closer. Okay? So as my feet get closer to one another, I'm able to challenge myself even more. It's not about really how far you go, it's how low do you keep your shoulders stacked over your hips and your hips stacked over your knees. So there's one big plank. We would turn you around, have either what I call bicep curls. Again, you don't need a machine anymore. You don't even need to let around weights. This is totally portable. When I do my trail runs, I take this out with me. I hit a tree, pick it up and work out.